Beautiful. Welcome back to She's Beyond Elevated. So, today's conversation is one that I think many women, especially women of color, feel, but rarely actually name it, right? So, this episode is called The Stereotypes That Follow You in Every Single Room. And even if you've ever walked into a meeting or boardroom or negotiation or even a networking events, right? Um, there even online too, because I feel like this applies online too to
Hmm.
people, and you felt like people have already decided who you are before you even open your mouth or before you've said one single word. They've already have these preconceived notions about who they think you are. And you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Today, what we're going to do is we're actually going to be unpacking how racial and gender suppression, mm, so much, and assumptions too, show up in professional spaces because
Mm.
we know it's supposed to go one way, but being educated women of color, we know that that doesn't happen, right? And more importantly, we're going to attempt to dismantle the power that they feel that they have over you when they make these stereotypes, right? So
Hmm.
I'm so excited because I have a person who I have known, Tasha, we've been
Since
in
2016.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
about to say about 10 years, right? Wow. Wow. Well,
Right.
I am joined today by Tasha Christy, right? She's an intuitive copywriter and a disruptive messaging expert for progressive and more so spiritually led entrepreneurs. And
Hmm.
I have met her on a personal level. I have worked with her professionally. And when I tell you that she is the bee's knees, she is that, right? So Tasha's actually known very gently as the copy queen. And
Mm.
for the
Yeah.
last few years, and in one of the most widely referred copywriters, meaning as one of the most widely preferred copywriters on the internet, and especially in our circles. I am so excited just to have you here and just to talk with you today. So how you doing, girl?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and talking to my peeps. So through her programs, and again, I've worked with you professionally. You actually have a lot of done for you and
Hmm.
copyright clients. You provide those services, but you've also helped clients sell out some of their most sacred offers and
Hmm.
get the emotion behind who they are and not be afraid to say what they're actually bringing as far as
Right.
services are concerned. And that within itself, just giving us a voice or helping us to express the voice is profound in the world that we're living in right now, right?
Hmm.
So one of Tasha's deepest missions is to see more heart-driven leaders, especially women and BIPOC entrepreneurs, okay? So because she believes that when more money and you know we are often, she and I have had this conversation, we often get scared when it comes to money, or we're expected to
Mm.
be scared when it comes to money and asking for what we're worth. And she dispels that, like, no, that's exactly what we're going that's exactly what we're going to do, right? So she
Hmm.
believes that when more money is in the hands of kind-hearted women, the entire world becomes better, right? So again, thank you so much for just being here today, right? So, many women walk into spaces where they are prejudged, right? They are stereotyped, bitter black woman, and you know that's my
Yeah. Angry black woman. Yeah.
huh?
Angry black woman.
Yes, angry, we bitter.
Hmm.
All the list goes on and on. So, and you know, we walk into these spaces. Of course, I brought this to light many times that African American women are the most highly educated race and
Hmm.
class of women in the entire United States.
Right.
And this is something that we face every single
Yeah.
day. And it's so it's almost disheartening because you work so hard to actually get to this space where you're disrespected and where you are belittled and where you are not given your flowers like while you're here, and it's so disheartening. But anyway, now so and of course, Tasha, I want you to tell us a little bit about your story and how you got to being the copyright queen and just being in this space. So if you could just share with my audience like how you got
Um,
here.
I would say, to make a long story short, because it's been about 10 years since I've been in business, in May. It'll be 10 years. And so I started out as a career coach because I was a speech pathologist for almost a decade before I entered the industry. And so when I came in, I was advised to do something that I had already had expertise in. You know what
Okay,
I'm saying? Instead
right.
of trying to do something new, instead of trying to go and get some kind of, training or certificate or whatever, the person was like, oh, you just need to start with, the career you've already had. And so that's what I did. I was like, well, I can be a career coach because by then I had worked in different cities. I had worked abroad, as an SLP. So I could help other SLPs who wanted to have a career that was more fulfilling, and just more impactful. And that's kind of where I started. Over the years that kind of evolved, I decided I wanted to be a life coach. And because I was like, oh, I want to make a bigger impact on people beyond my
Right.
industry. And I kind of was phasing out SLP by then. Like I hadn't left the job yet, but I knew that was something I was kind of moving out of,
Eventually move
right?
on. Right. Mhm.
And so I went and I got training. That wasn't the intention though. I kind of was like, well, let me look up a life coach, training programs. I was
Right.
living in DC at that time. So I found one, and then they had this observation thing where you could go and observe the class, the training to see, if it was a match or whatever.
Right.
And so I did, and I ended up signing up for the program. That was not my intention. But I ended up doing that anyway. And so I completed the program. It was a year. It was really intense. It was a year of training and mentorship. And we also got coaching. We received coaching as a part of the program, as well as were taught like coaching skills and supervised and working with clients and all kinds of stuff, right? So I did that. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a life coach. I was a life coach for a little while. And then by that time, I noticed that I really liked A, working with entrepreneurs, and B, I was really good. I knew I was a good writer, but I know I started to notice that my content, I was good at doing that. I was good at the marketing piece, I was good at creating content, stuff like that. But I also had realized because of my training that oftentimes entrepreneurs aren't as successful not because of the outside strategies and stuff that they teach you, but because of the things that were going on within them, right?
Exactly.
So I called it at the time energetic marketing coach, embodiment coach. And so I did that for a while. And then I stumbled upon human design. That was around 2019 going into 2020.
Right.
That was when my business exploded because I started to use human design to help my clients market their business in alignment with who they are, right? And so
Right.
that was when it allowed me to differentiate, first of all, so I could easily, using that system, teach like people to market their business in a way that made sense to them and that was sustainable, right? And it was easy for me because I could say, okay, if somebody was a projector, XYZ information about them, or if they were a manifester, or if they were, a generator, etc., or if they had a certain profile or an authority, whatever. That it just made it easy for me to differentiate and to create programs that were not cookie cutter, which at that time was a thing. Like, that was during the time of the magical formula and that kind of thing. Everybody trying to figure out some magic blueprint. for business success, right?
Right.
When my thing was the blueprint is already in you.
Exactly.
All you need to do is
Exactly.
follow it and align with it, right? And so I did that for a few years. And then I decided to narrow it down to copywriting because by then that was like 2022. By then people were already hiring me for copywriting, like behind the scenes. Like I was selling, copywriting packages and stuff like that without marketing. I still sell a lot
Right.
of copywriting stuff without marketing much of it. You know what I'm saying?
Again,
And
your
so
gifts
I
will make
had,
room.
yeah, so I
Mhm.
was like, well, why not just narrow it down and coach people in how to write copy for their business, and you can write it for them, like depending on what they needed. And so
Right.
that's kind of where my business is right now. Over time, I've kind of phased out human design, mainly because not because I don't think it's still relevant, but I just feel like once I get bored with shit, like once everybody starts doing it, I just get bored and I move on to something else. And so
Exactly.
that's kind of what I have done.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
great. Well, great. Right. And as I stated earlier, you and I have known each other for almost 10 years now.
Hmm.
And even in that space, like even myself, I've evolved to the things and where I am right now
Hmm.
seems to be the place of my calling. So I, like
Yeah.
you, did all the things that I was supposed to do allegedly
Right.
or felt easy to do. And so now teaching women how to actually build wealth, understanding that their level of expertise is not something that they need to go and put one more certificate on. More, I have
Right.
47, right? 47 licenses, degrees, diplomas, certifications. And I teach people of all people, I teach
Hmm.
people don't go get one more certificate
You
until
don't need one.
you, right,
Like,
until you monetize what you already have. Let's get a
hmm,
return on the investment you've already made
made.
in yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So and again, this is part of the reason why this topic today is so very important because what happens is that women are seem to be boxed in to what society thinks they should be doing and then what they are expected to do because of preconceived notions and preconceived stereotypes, and then they limit themselves. And so then we have sitting in one place forever doing the same thing because someone told you that that was what you were supposed to do. So, like I
Hmm.
said, many women actually walk into spaces where people already make assumptions about them and they tell them who they should be about their competence, their personality styles, even their leadership styles. And you're coming into corporate and these are things that are being said, and unfortunately, out of everything, those are the things that we have to work the hardest to dispel, right? So, what stereotypes do you actually see showing up most often for women, especially women of color that you work with, either professionally or even in the entrepreneurial space?
I feel like there is just this assumption that we have to prove our competence. And so even if you're the most qualified person in the room, there's always like, okay, well, I gotta be three, four, five times better than
Yeah,
them
yeah.
because, there's already this assumption that I'm incompetent
What do they call
automatically.
it? The black tax or
Yep.
something like that? Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely, definitely.
And I feel like in this industry, in the coaching industry, it's the same. Like the same biases and stuff exist. So you do have a lot of what I always like to call best kept secrets,
Yes.
where, these people will be brilliant, like, and getting results for their clients and doing all this. And then you'll have some mediocre white girl, like for real.
Mhm.
And she'll be making all this money. People be raving about her. Like I've even seen people rave about them after they've been burned.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like they've already had bad experiences with the person and they'll still,
Yeah.
shout their name
Yeah.
from the rooftops. But then
Sliced
you'll have a
bread,
black
the next best
person who's
thing.
better at it or who's doing, you know, better
Amazing
work,
things. Hmm.
and we just don't get the same recognition.
I completely agree. I
Right.
completely agree. Now, how do you think that these assumptions affect how women actually communicate or show up, especially women of
I
color?
feel like I feel like it makes us do too much. It makes us do too much. Like we go overboard, above and beyond. So we're working, doing, making sure our hair is perfect, our makeup is laid, all this kind of stuff, right? And which would be fine if it was coming from a place of, okay, this is what I want to look like. This is bringing me joy. You know what I'm saying? To look like this or to, have my hair, the way I have my hair, etc. But it's different when it's coming from a place of, okay, I got to make sure that nothing is out of place. Because when I was growing up, I was told to dot every I and cross every T.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Because you can't make mistakes. Like you don't have
Not
that.
allowed. We don't get grace.
Right. We don't
There's
get
not grace.
grace. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? You got one time. That's what I was always told. You got one time, Tasha, to make an impression. And
That's it.
after you mess that up, that's it. You don't get no other
There's no
chance.
coming back. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it's
you're
like you black. They might not ever consider you again. You know what I'm saying?
listen, Tasha sound like your mama was my mama.
Right. And so
Listen, I heard it.
we often are raised with this, especially I find Gen X, those early millennials, late,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Our generation especially was raised to be, because we were coming off of the civil rights generation. You know what I'm saying? Most of our parents weren't born during the time of Jim Crow and all those kinds of things. So they know what it feels like for that. So they're raising their kids to, okay, well, we're going to do better. So in order
Exactly.
for you to do better and to prevent this discrimination that we know is inevitable, this is what you got to do, you
Yes.
know? And
You
I
have to
feel
do
like
that.
people bring that into their
Everything.
business, the way they run their business,
Everything.
over working, undercharging,
Yes. Yes.
really holding yourself to this super duper high standard and beating yourself up if the client isn't 100% happy all the time, if it's not 100% perfect, even though you put in your best effort, like all of that kind of stuff, I feel like leads to exhaustion, burnout, to you being dissatisfied with your life, unfulfilled, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Almost
Mm.
giving away, you giving away the whole house for one thing. And
Right.
because again, being able to prove that
Hmm.
yes, I am competent, that's the
Right.
first stumbling block.
Right.
So we do have a tendency to overteach, to over deliver, to overdo all of these things. And
Hmm.
then so when someone is unsatisfied or however, and let's just be real, you cannot make every single person happy.
You
It's
can't.
never going to happen.
It's never
But
gonna happen.
but for I believe for women of color, what happens is that we take it personal
Yeah.
because we fought from an internal place to even be in front of that person.
Right. To
So
even be
when
in the room. Yeah.
exactly. So it feels like a personal attack on us. So yeah, wow, wow, great stuff, Tasha. So let me just ask you this question. Now I know that you work in messaging and you do copywriting and so forth, which when you think about it, it really has a lot to do with perception
Hmm.
because the copyright and the message that you put out there is just half the battle because how that person perceives what you've said and how you've delivered that message is what ultimately decides what they take
Yeah.
from the message, right? So,
Yeah.
how do you think stereotypes actually shape the way women feel when they actually present themselves and their offers and things such as that, even in your marketing or even just a personal brand?
I think women are often held to a higher standard. I see men who, I mean, really just look a mess. They don't really make that much of an effort with their appearance. You know what I'm saying? They say any old thing, all kinds of stuff, right? And they are well received. Whereas if a woman comes out and she's not dressed a certain way, if she has her makeup looks a certain way, or if she has, like me, I don't wear makeup really at all. She will get criticized. It's real critical if she's overweight, and she,
Ooh, yes.
that kind of thing. If her hair is a certain way, I find especially with Black women, our hair is like a big deal. So
Right.
like depending on if you wear it natural, if it's too quote unquote considered to be too quote unquote nappy or kinky, you'll get
Mhm.
criticized about that. Or if it's looser and curly, but people think it's fake, all that kind of stuff, right? So I do think it makes you subconscious.
Yeah.
And so it makes you create this mask that's inauthentic and that's unsustainable. So
Yeah.
I find that women can be successful doing that, but only for so long. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like you can build a brand on this public image, right? But what
Mhm.
happens when the image is you can't do it anymore?
Correct. Or you have one flawed day or a
Exactly.
week off or
Or you
life.
make a big mistake,
Correct.
like something happens and
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, my reputation is going to be ruined. But to be
Exactly.
honest, I've never seen that happen. Like I've literally seen people come back from the dead,
Yeah,
like they do all
definitely.
kinds of shit and then they come back. They make a
Mhm.
comeback. That's somebody that's always supporting them. But again, I feel like with men it's different too because men have come back from some horrible shit. Like, I mean, look at who we have in office as the president right now. Like, I mean, if he could still be elected after all the stuff that's happening, that's what I keep telling people. No mistake is just
Yeah, it's nothing. And again, you and I have often connected. I'm very, very spiritual, um, not religious, but very, very
mhm,
spiritual. And everything is according to the plan.
right,
Every single thing. And the life that we're living, we create. We're creating it every single day. And one of the things that the reason that stereotyping is so disruptive to me personally is just because regardless of the life that I'm creating, you're making an assumption not being a part of the story. And
right,
that within itself is most disruptive for me. So,
mhm,
when we think about women and how they show up, especially for themselves more than anything, because like I know, you'll go and you will go to an organization or corporation, whatever, and you are there early, stay late, work through your
mhm,
lunch, don't, do all of the things. But when it comes to yourself, you only give half stitch effort. You do
right,
not give and go so hard for yourself like you go for this organization. Who could care less whether you're not you there the next day or not? Because ultimately, if you leave, you're going to be replaced. And
mhm.
so I guess one of my like a question I have to kind of follow up that other question is, do you see women actually softening their voice just to avoid the critics
Oh yeah.
and the backlash?
That's a big one too. It's like softening your voice, holding back on certain opinions that you know
Mhm.
are controversial, not sharing your whole story, sharing like the kitty version or the Kool-Aid version of what happened in your life because you don't want everybody to know, you know, all of that. You don't want the criticism, you don't want the judgment, you don't want your mama to be mad because you aired the dirty laundry,
Right.
etc. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like that is a big fear. And I also feel like the fear of being canceled too,
Hmm.
like of saying the wrong thing, of saying being misunderstood. That's
Yeah.
another thing, is like people um holding back because they don't want to be misunderstood. But the thing is, that kind of limits your visibility because the more people have exposure to you, you're going to be misunderstood because these
Yeah.
people don't know you personally. You know what I'm saying? All they can go by is what you say
That's
publicly.
it. That's it. Yeah. And I am a firm believer in everything that I've seen. Um, the bad publicity is just as is better sometimes than the
It's
good.
better than the good. Like
And
I said,
and
I've never seen anybody be destroyed like forever because they got some bad press.
no, not at all. Not at all. Well,
Mm-mm.
beautiful. We're going to go ahead and pause right here just for a quick break. Now, when we come back, we're actually going to talk about how messaging can actually reclaim power in these types of situations and in breaking the stereotypes. You guys
Okay.
be just stay right here with me. We'll be right back. Before we get into today's episode, let me share something with you that I use personally in my business. Today's episode is sponsored by Go High Level. And yes, I am a proud affiliate because I don't recommend anything that I don't use myself. If you're a coach, consultant, service based entrepreneur who's tired of juggling 5, 6, 7 different platforms to try to efficiently run your business, then Go High Level is for you. Go High Level helps you centralize your systems, CRMs, emails, text messaging, calls, calendars, webinars, even automation, all in one place. For me, time freedom is non negotiable. Legacy doesn't require burnout. And Go High Level helps me build a business that works with my life and not against it. If you want to explore it for yourself, you can learn more by using the affiliate link in the show notes. Now let's get back to the So, Tasha, one of the most powerful things you teach is disruptive messaging. And a lot of people don't exactly know what that is. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to explain exactly what that is. But
Mhm.
how can women, especially women of color, reclaim their narrative of their lives and what they want to be known instead of letting stereotypes define them?
Well, first of all, disruptive messaging is something I kind of came up with. But I consider it to be anything where you are saying the things that are not commonly spoken about in your industry.
Mhm.
And then it makes you stand out from everybody else. So you have a certain viewpoint, opinion, experience, expertise that distinguishes you from everybody else. Because the thing about being in this industry is that everybody out after a while starts to sound the same. So what is different about you? You know, why would
Yeah,
somebody choose you from all these other people offering the same program? You know what I'm saying?
right.
So the disruptive messaging is to get you noticed. It's to stop the scroll. Like you know how people just scroll on social media.
That's it.
You want them to stop and look at your content. That is the disruptive messaging. But it also starts um you know how they always are talking about attraction marketing, right?
Right.
But you can get into this kind of people pleasing sort of phase if you're always trying to attract people because then you're like, okay, I want people to like me. You know what I'm saying? But really,
Exactly.
what you should be doing is repelling people. You should be repelling people because when you repel people, the
The right
people
people.
are automatically going to be attracted
Correct.
because your message is so strong that people can't just sit on the fence. They have to make a decision. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's kind of the disruption too. You want people to dislike you and to leave your space. You want
Yes.
your message to be so strong, so your viewpoint to be so forceful that people can't deny it. They can't ignore
Correct.
it. They can't sit with it if it's not in alignment with who they are.
And let's be real, the repelling actually makes space and room for your actual tribe, the people that are
Right.
supposed to be in your
The people
space.
that are supposed to be, you want
Exactly.
the wrong
Exactly.
people to be repelled. And the
Correct.
thing is, I feel like in this space, and even in the corporate world, you want people to like you. Like it's a lot of like seeking outside validation and worrying about. I remember when I was a speech pathologist, wanting my supervisor to like me, wanting her to think that I was good enough, that, you know, whatever, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like it's similar in marketing. So the reason why I also tell people to do this is so they can reclaim who they actually really are and kind of like separate that from other people's opinions of them. Like,
Mm,
yeah, perception matters in marketing, but how it matters is, do people think your offer is valuable? Do they want to buy? Are you in alignment with their values? Do they feel bad when they give you money because you voted for Donald Trump? You know, for example, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Hmm.
And it's kind of like that's how you reclaim it, because really being disruptive is not necessarily about creating some kind of controversial persona. It's about
Right.
being more of who
You
you
are.
are. It's about
Exactly.
bringing all parts of yourself into your marketing. Because what we normally do is we leave out the controversial stuff. We leave out the stuff that we think people won't like about us.
Hmm.
We just, and then we show up perfect, quote
Hmm.
unquote. And that's what you do in the corporate world too. That's the reason why when I shifted to entrepreneurship, it was hard for me in the beginning, because I was used to putting on my face. You know what I'm saying? When I went to work,
Yeah.
you
I
know what I'm
call
saying? To
myself a
have having
chameleon.
one way I spoke at work and one way I spoke at home,
Exactly. Yeah.
having, you know, split personalities almost. There was professional Tasha, you know, and then there was at home Tasha. There was Tasha with her friends. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I feel
Exactly.
like, especially as Black women and women of color, that's what we do. That's how we are successful.
Hmm. Yeah. And
We
we,
create these
right, to fit in
different,
the box. Exactly.
right?
To fit in
You
that
know,
box. You are so right. You are so right. Because I can say in corporate, I had I had at least three to four different personas. I
hmm,
did. I had, the educated, where the subject matter expert, where I showed up
right,
and people knew that they could get the exact answer from me. And then I
right,
had the fun loving carefree side of me that I
hmm,
also displayed at work, but only to a certain extent.
right,
And then I had the hood version of me that I'm gonna be at the barbecue with my homegirls kicking it,
right,
and then I
right,
had the mom, like I was a mom. So
hmm,
and I had a daughter, and I wanted to make sure my daughter wasn't, outside with a bonnet on and slippers, and
right,
the whole thing. So I had a
right,
whole bunch of personas, and I used to say all the time that I'm a chameleon. And
right.
what I learned to do is to rephrase that I am adaptable in every situation. And,
Yep.
and that's truly what it was. I call it chameleon, but you can put me wherever and I'm going to thrive. I see that as a gift. Whereas before, I thought that before I really got clear about who I was, I thought that that was something that I had to do to be accepted. Now I don't, the accepting part is not really it's not really a top priority for me anymore, because you're either a part of my tribe or you're not. Simple, and
Hmm.
I don't make any qualms about it. So yeah, that's wow. I think, yeah, I'm thinking about, like, I had a church version of me and all that stuff, like everything,
Right,
because there's certain things you wouldn't say at church, and you might not say it in front of your parents, and you might.
right,
So yeah, and now people like, you just say anything. No, I just
right.
be me
I
all the
I
time.
sure I
I
sure
just
do.
Yeah, I just be me.
Yep.
So wow, thanks, Tasha. So you actually talk openly a lot about wanting more and demanding more, right? As far as monetary and financial and freedom and time and all of those things, especially for women of color, right? And you talk a lot about women being able to charge and to make significant amounts of money
Hmm.
because they're worthy of doing that. So why is money such an important part of conversation around stereotyping and messaging?
Well, because money gives you access. In this society, money gives you access.
Mhm.
So if you don't have access to money, then you don't have access to power to actually make changes, to do anything. I mean, in order to buy anything, I mean, you need money,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and the problem has been that the money is imbalanced. It's in the hands of too many, in my opinion, evil people, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, who don't really mean this world a good.
Right.
And it's
But it
not
does not
enough.
mean money is evil.
It doesn't mean money itself is
Exactly
evil, no,
right.
but the people who have it, money is neutral.
Yes, it
You
is.
know,
It's energy. It's
it's not
energetic.
good or bad or nothing. We make it good and bad,
Hmm.
you know, but it's not.
It's not. It's really not. And there's no harm in women, especially women of color, women who know that they have been placed on this earth to do so much good and to
Hmm.
help so many people. There's nothing wrong with women creating wealth, women
Yeah.
creating, earning.
And
I
I
don't even
feel
like to
like
use the word earn, like for women attracting massive,
receiving, yep,
exactly, massive,
receiving.
massive amounts of money
Hmm.
to do the things that they have been called
Right.
to do. And
Like
yeah.
I have this concept that I call woke and wealthy, right?
Mhm.
And so it's about you being able to have enough money to contribute to the world, to all these causes and stuff that you want to contribute to, and have money to live the kind of lifestyle you want to live, to be able to take care of your family, go on vacation, buy a nice house, like all these different
Experience.
things that we want to
Mhm.
do, most people want to do. You can have money for that and have enough money to say to help people in the world as well. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying? So there's that way nobody is without. Everybody has. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have first, you're well resourced first, and then you have the ability to distribute the money the way that you see fit.
Correct. And you have the power and the control to do that. And I think a lot of women also um, switching to an entrepreneurial space, we almost are taught that it's a dog eat dog world. Like there's not
Mhm.
enough for everyone. And I
Yeah.
seriously disagree because
Hmm.
there's enough wealth, there is enough money, there's enough power for every single person. Because what my definition of an ideal life is completely different than yours. What you desire in life, to feel like this is the end all be all, this is where I want to be, is not the same as what I desire, and
Hmm.
so for instance, I have a granddaughter. Freedom to me looks like being able to pick her up from daycare and
Hmm.
go and buy ice cream, or
Right.
that's freedom to me. I don't have to punch a clock, and I don't have to say, oh, I only have 5 minutes, we can't, we you gotta go, I don't have that. So to me, that's freedom, and it looks
Right.
different. And and when we talk about money, especially in our communities, first of all, we don't have enough conversations about money.
We don't.
We don't. One of the reasons that this podcast was so appealing to me, and I really work on changing the conversations around money and wealth, because having money and having wealth are two totally different things. And we
Hmm.
don't have the conversations because if most people did not come, especially myself, I didn't come from a wealthy background. So there weren't
Hmm.
conversations that we actually even had. So to
Right.
have these conversations now and to attempt to dismantle all of the stepping stones and all of the blocks and the barriers that keep us from wealth is what my desire is to do, to have those types of conversations. So, okay, if you could just stay with us, beautiful, I promise, I promise, I promise, because what Tasha's about to share with you next may actually shift how you think about and your voice, your money, your influence, and even your income. We will be right back. Beautiful. Before you go, I want to invite you to take the Wealth Asset Archetype quiz, because here's the truth. You don't need more information. You need clarity on what you already carry. The quiz will help you identify the exact strengths, skills, and patterns you already have, and how to translate those into income, influence, and real wealth. No guessing, no overthinking, just alignment. You can find the link in the show notes. Take the quiz and start building from who you already are. where expertise becomes wealth. So, so welcome back. Welcome back, beautiful. So, Tasha, for the women listening who feels like stereotypes have really followed them into every single room that they've ever entered, what's one thing mindset wise that you could recommend for them to shift that helps her stop internalizing the things that other people think about her?
Hmm. I mean, one of the things I would say is to stop looking for validation and acceptance, I guess you would say, like from other people. I know it's not easy if it's, say, like your boss or your supervisor and you're worried about keeping your job, like that kind of thing. But I feel like that is something like really suspending how other people perceive you and how people think about you. Like, as long as you know you're doing your best, what else can you do?
That's
Like,
it.
that's what I used to ask. Like, what else can you do? Like, you can't do anything more than that. Now, if you
Yep.
know you're not doing your best, you're putting in, and less effort, which for us, most of the time, that's not the case. Most of the time, we're overdoing.
Over. Exactly.
We're
Yeah.
overexerting, we're overdoing, we're overgiving, we're staying super late at night, we're working hard,
Yeah.
40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something too. This is not necessarily a mindset thing, but do less
Okay.
because it
Explain to
starts
me
with
what you
who
mean.
you're being. It starts with your confidence and how you feel about yourself more so than anything than doing. I
Right.
have figured out that the reason why, which some of this is born of privilege, I get it. But the reason why a lot of these other people are successful and they work a lot less is because they are confident. They believe in themselves. Sometimes like they're confident when it's not even warranted.
Yeah.
Like they'll do half-ass work and like will seriously just walk with their heads high and like they
Yes.
did the best thing. You know what
Correct.
I'm saying? And I feel like that does make a difference,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Because everything in them says that, and
that they
this is
deserve and they're
correct. This is where
worthy.
I want my ladies to be.
Right.
That everything within you says that you are on the path, that you are exactly where you should be. You have shown up immense in an immense and added immense value, and everything is rigged in your favor.
Right. And I like to tell myself too that I belong in every room that I enter.
Every
There's
room.
not a room that I decide to enter that I don't belong in.
Mhm. And I'm gonna go throw one on top of that. One of my mantras is that my name is being spoken in rooms
Where I
that I
haven't.
have not even yet entered,
Right.
because that is grace.
Right.
That is favor for someone to speak highly of
Of
you
you
and
when you're
you've
not even
never
there.
walked in there, right?
Right.
So though that's another one of the things, and I say that all the time. My name is being spoken in rooms that I haven't even yet entered. And it's true. And you'll see how things start to align when you truly believe that. Like when you truly believe that. So, wow, I have really, really, really enjoyed this conversation. So, Tasha, before we close, tell our listeners how they can actually connect with you and just learn more about the work that you do or even work with you.
Well, I'm mostly on Facebook. That's where a majority of my content is and where I'm most active. I'm also on Threads and Instagram. I'm starting to post on Threads and engage on there. Don't really like Instagram, so you're not gonna find me there. But if you send me a message there, I will respond. But yeah, Facebook is the main place where you'll find like all my links. You'll be able to message me, you'll read my content and see if it's a vibe, and if I have services that you need.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So beautiful. We'll actually have all of Tasha's information available in our show notes so you can actually check it out after this episode is done. Now, I just want to bring something to you guys because I have been working very, very hard on this, and this is something that I know will be not only a blessing to you, but also to me. If this conversation actually was about influence and messaging and wealth preparations and all of those things, and if that resonated with you, I really want to invite you to take the wealth asset archetype quiz. Okay, now this quiz is something that I created to help you understand your unique strengths, the things that you already possess, and how they can actually be leveraged and monetized to build wealth and expand your influence, right? I'm actually going to drop the link in the show notes for you as well. Please go in. It's absolutely free, but when I tell you that it can help you build the wealth that you desire in your life and create the life that you want, that is exactly what it does. So, beautiful. I just want to leave you guys with this. Stereotypes only truly hold power and have the ability to impact you when you believe them. Okay? Your voice is not too much. Your presence is not a threat. Your ambition is not the problem. Your desire to have the life that you have only dreamed of is not unrealistic. The truth is, the rooms you walk in don't define who you are, and what other people think should have no impact on what you do in this world. So, again, I am going to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart to tuning in to She's Beyond Elevated. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a woman who is navigating rooms where she feels misunderstood and still shows up anyway. But until next time, remember, you weren't born to blend in. You were built to break ceilings, break out of boxes, and break generational curses. Stay bold, stay brilliant, stay beyond elevated, where expertise becomes wealth. Thank you so much, Tasha, for joining us. And until next time. Well, beautiful, thank you for tuning in to She's Beyond Elevated with Dr. Kimberly Dunlap. If this episode spoke to your soul, share it with another woman ready to rise. Remember, elevation isn't a destination, it's a decision. Keep shining, keep walking in purpose, and I'll see you in the next episode.